the URT. Big up the URT. Welcome to the URT. We are the URT. You are the URT. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel for the URT people. Big up, we're on the way, people. We're on the way. We're on a jiggly bell bike. We're on our way. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully, we're going to get the panelists to join us tonight. And we're going to be talking about everything that is Ruben Amorim. We're going to get them, hopefully, to rate the transfer window. They're going to have to rate out of 10 the transfer window. And all of you in the comments are going to have to rate the transfer window as well. But big up to people. We're in South Central Money. You can see that's where we are, people. We're coming to you live and direct from Manny City Centre. Are we having it? Are we mad for it or what? Let me just add Ben. Yes, let me just add Ben. Bear with me, people. Bear with me, people. Big up Ben in the background. Yes, Ben. I'm just on my way back, pal. We're live and direct, pal. We're live and direct.
Money.
It's money. You can see it's money, mate. Money, we're having it. You can see people. Here we go. Doing illegal maneuvers, trying to get home, people. We're doing illegal maneuvers, trying to get home. If you get run over, it's all on you to repeat on me. If I get run over, let's just see. Oh, no, the lights have changed. Ben, talk to them, man. Talk to the people.
Yeah, what we saying, bro? What we saying? Big up the chat. Hit the likes, people, and subscribe, people. And always, bro, free Palestine, fuck Zionism, and yeah, free the people. Yeah, man. Obviously the transfer window's closed. It's officially closed. First things first. Welcome to Man United. Lemons? Is it lemons or lemons? Is it
lemons? Sunny lemons, mate.
Lemons.
Did you see what the Manchester United official account tweeted out?
What about?
Yesterday they tweeted out something about lemon. You know, like some added old kind of like thing saying about lemons. Honestly, it was quite embarrassing. It was quite embarrassing. People, please.
It's propaganda.
Yeah. Smash the likes, people. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Things we do.
Yep.
Things we do to get to you. URT. Who are we? But yeah, Ben, how you feeling? How you feeling about the window?
Not good, mate. I'll be honest with you. And
talk to me.
Nerdin, I'll be honest with you. I'm very disappointed with a lot of people. Like, I'm not going to mention names or anything online, but especially people in the Mandem talk, they've been rating this window a 7 or 8 out of 10. Some of them even said 10 out of 10. Well, I'm not saying, man. It's not my. But I'll let you deal with that, anyways. But I'm glad we got the keeper in. I'm glad we got that. I would prefer both Martinez and Lemons. I think we needed both, and we should have checked maybe Onana and Bayindir out. I'm going to give the transfer window a 4.5, 5 to be generous out of 10. I do like the fact that we got rid of a lot of outgoings. Obviously, it's only Malacia, and that's realistically left. I'm glad Jadon Sancho's gone to Aston Villa, but I'm not happy that it's not a permanent deal. But yes, this is it, people. Like, I said it so many times. We needed 2 midfielders. We needed an experienced goalkeeper. We needed a wing back. We needed a centre back too. So at the end of the day, Nerdin, you specifically said, and I said as well, we need 7 starters. We need 7 players in this window, and we've only got 4. They said on the Twitter page, Man United Twitter page, they said they got 5 signings, and they're actually including Diego Leon as a Man United signing. And I'm like, what sort of propaganda is this, man? Like, they're just trying to paper over the fucking cracks, man. It's just not good enough, man. It's not good enough. I wish Højlund and Anthony all the best with their club, like obviously their loan spells and their signings, obviously. And yeah, man, at the end of the day, like the fact the audacity people give this. I seen Saeed say earlier, 7 out of 10. You know, it's I mean, big up the Saeed man, but I don't know what smoke he's on, bro.
We're gonna break it down tonight, people. We're gonna break it down, man. Listen, everybody's opinion. That's the beauty about football, isn't it?
Facts. That's
Everybody's
it.
got an
Same.
opinion.
Facts.
Yeah. Yes, people. You good? Is that you, Theo? No, it's not Theo. I thought that was Theo on the road, but it's not Theo.
Make sure you hit
Big
the
up
likes,
the
people.
massive though. Big up Lesso. Lesso, welcome. How you doing, man? Is it cold in Southern Africa? Is it cold or are we getting there now? Is it getting warmer? How you doing? You good?
Big up to Ben. Big up to Noradine.
Yeah, man. Big up.
No, it's hot. It's actually
It's
hot.
hot.
I
Ooh,
just started.
it's hot.
Summertime, baby. Summertime.
Summertime.
Yeah, man. I just started a new job, so
Oh wow! Congrats, man.
yeah,
Congrats. Congrats.
yeah, man.
Congratulations, King.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thanks, my G's. Thank you.
Talk to me, Lesso. How do
But
you see this window, man? Talk to me. How do you see the window?
yeah, man. I mean, whether you want this manager gone or to stay, you have to be fair here and be saying that it's been disappointing, honestly. You look at the fact that we're very lean, squad wise. They let so many of these players go, and we did not even replace them with sufficient players. That is very poor from this football club and very short sighted. And it's something that's been ongoing for since the Glazers have been here, to be honest. So nothing has really changed with Ineos. Like I've always told people, that when a lot of things have been changed. There's nothing, honestly. There's this facade that they're trying to pull over people's, eyes. I mean, you mentioning five signings. I mean, one of them doesn't even, it doesn't even play. Never mind anything. He's not even ready for the first team for to play week in week out. So to mention him, amongst the signings is shameful. It's shameful from this ownership. And yeah, man, I mean, how can you go through a whole transfer window and not sign any midfielders? That's disgusting. Like, I don't know what type of ship are they running or what they are hoping to achieve from this, but it's just gonna end in tears for everyone, honestly. And no matter what they do, I think we're in big trouble. We're in big
Facts.
trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. May God bless you. Make sure you hit the likes, people. Obviously, Nerdens. He's in Mane cycling home. So I'm sure he wouldn't be long getting home, anyways. Yeah, man. That's so I agree, man. I think this window's been a fucking shambles. I agree. I mean, I said it from the start. We needed 7 players, and we've like the club have brought out this propaganda and saying we've got 5 players and Diego Leon. I don't agree with that. Like, Diego Leon was signed in January, so I don't count that as a signing. So, and I'm seeing less. I hate to tell you this, bro, but there's so many people out there and on Twitter, on all over social media that's saying, "Oh, Ineos have done a good job. It's an 8 out of 10 window." It just baffles me, man. It baffles me that these people actually like this fan base just supports, this organization and Ineos, man, and just they have so much hope for them. So yeah, man. What do you think of Le Mans? Are you glad? Are you happy that Man United signed a goalkeeper?
Uh yeah, man. I think he's got potential. And is one of the signings that, yeah, that I would have hoped that we would get, if we didn't get the others. So, it's a good investment. It's a long-term investment. And if we can, use them correctly, I think we'll have a goalkeeper for the next decade easily. So, yeah, overall, I'm still not happy. I feel like he may be forced in to do what David De Gea basically was forced to do when he came on and replaced Van der Sar immediately, because all the other keepers we have, they're redundant.
Facts.
In fact, in fact of being
Facts.
first our first choices. Look at Bainde. I mean, come on. Onana, the less said, the better. That's a circus on its own. And yeah, I mean, the spot is there for him to take, to be honest, to solidify himself as a number one keeper, over the years. So, yeah, let's. What do you think? What do you think of the signing? Because I know you wanted it.
Yeah, I'm happy we got him in. I'm big up Jarvis.
Big up,
I would
guys.
rather have both Martinez and Le Mans. I just think that Le Mans he does need development. I think bringing in Martinez, he's a World Cup winner. He's a proven winner, and especially he did well in the Champions League with Villa. I just think Le Mans needs like someone to like look up to and learn off so much. Even though Martinez does make a lot of mistakes, but his shot stopping is his best ability. And I do believe Le Mans. The one thing I can say I'm happy with Le Mans is the fact that it, he commands his box so well, and that's what we've missed for our goalkeepers in the past. So probably since Van der Sar. Van der Sar was the last goalkeeper we've had in set pieces that he would come out of his box and claim the ball. We haven't had a keeper. Onana can't do it. De Gea couldn't do it. There's Romero couldn't do it. So I'm just glad that we have, and don't get me wrong, people, like Le Mans will make mistakes. Like he's still a young kid. We have to back him. The fan base have to get behind him. Like he's only 23 or 24. And I'm all for him, man. I'm glad we got him in. He's a tall player. He said he can play from the back. He says his shot stopping's good. And look, you know what? I watched his interview, man, and he seems very, very confident going into the season. So hopefully he can do well.
Yes,
Big up to
yes.
Jarvis.
Jarvis.
Big up, guys. Big up. I hope you're well. Northern is out on his bike in
Cycling, yeah.
Manchester, making the streets of Manchester dangerous. So we gotta bear with us. It's just me and Ben and Les. So I don't know. I see Boombaye in the green room, but I don't know if it's ready.
Oh, he
Let's
says he's
see.
waiting
Yeah, okay. He's
backstage.
waiting backstage. Okay, I'll bring you up.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, oh. Oh. Don't know what's going on. The slept as well.
okay. Let's bring Boombaye. I'll add him to the stage. So
There
there
he
we
is.
go. Big up, Boombaye.
Evening,
Big up
guys.
Bombay.
Evening,
Evening,
everybody.
evening.
How
So
you
how you
doing?
doing, my friend? Are you happy with the transfer window? Did you pay attention or did you just tune out for 3 months?
Tuned out, and I two things. I didn't have high expectations of this transfer window. I was hearing that there isn't any money. Um, Things didn't look very good. I didn't expect even what we got, to be honest. Um, I never had in mind any amount of players. To be honest, I didn't think it would be realistic. Five, plus like top first team stars because I didn't think the money was there. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
big up Antonio Conte, Jamie, big up. Um, so my opinion is probably going to be a little bit different on that basis. For me, transfer window is a big thing. So the first thing that I like is I had very little faith that we could depart with the bomb squad, the Deadwood.
Mm.
That was a very difficult job, and we've took some major hits on some transfers. The fact that they've managed to get Anthony away for 20 million with a little bit of add-ons and a sell-on clause, I think, is excellent. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah.
The fact that Rashford has gone to Barcelona is excellent. Whether that becomes permanent or not, I don't know, but we've given ourselves a fighting chance, which is important to get him away.
Mm.
Garnacho has gone to Chelsea for a fair price, and there's a sell on clause, which is very good. The club got that in as well. So, again, excellent. Sancho to Villa is just a miracle. he was the one that I felt would be the most difficult thing. And the fact that they got him away to Villa, I have to take my hat off to them. Brilliant. That aspect of the transfer market was my biggest concern, even more so than what we were going to bring in, because they have been notoriously troublesome players, disruptive for the squad, disruptive for the manager. Our managers, since Ten Hag, all they do is answer questions about players misbehaving, and this has to stop. So, from that perspective, I think it's excellent. The other stuff, Lindelof, Ericsson, Evans,
Mm.
no problem. That's fine. They were
Yeah, we
going.
knew
We all
that. So
knew that.
yeah.
We knew that, so no problem. Hoyland on loan with an option to buy, which will exceed £40 million, I think. Um, no, it's quite good. I think Salon Claude again, very good. They've made the decision. Hoyland wanted to stay and fight for his place. He believes he's as good as what they bought, but the club have made a decision and they've backed Ruben Amorim in that sense. So I like that. Um, with regards to the what we've signed, I'm very happy with it. Not only the fact that we got players of a good profile, players of a good age. They're not all. We have too many young ones. We've bought in players that are 26 years old, two of them, and we're paying them 180 and 150 respectively, which is great. That's what I want from Manchester United in terms of a wage structure. We're moving away from the stuff that has been so problematic for us. So again, that's excellent. We've bought in a young striker, and we've got a goalkeeper that I know nothing about. I've not even seen him on YouTube, but we got him. So for me, um, I'm quite happy. I would have liked to have gotten a midfielder as well, but otherwise, I look at my squad. I like our defense. I think there's good cover there centrally. Out wide, we're okay. There's no issues there.
Mm.
Midfield wise, we have a lot, especially in the tens. Our problem is the position in the six. Just one six would have been the real cherry on the top of the cake for me. And I think the team, you can see the improvements immediately that Cunha and Buemo have brought. And I think even Seshko, when I've watched his movement in the cameos of the two games, I like him. You can immediately see there is a predatory nature about him in his movement. He's constantly moving. And what I spoke about during last season, somebody that wills the player to put the ball where they want it without saying anything because of their movement. There was two nice opportunities in the last game where he flashed one of them wide. He forces Delo to make the pass, and he's a focal point, and you can see the change in United when that space is occupied. I also like the loans that we did. I think those loans are good loans for players to get experience rather than compete with two other players in their position, and it will only do them well. So Harry Amas, good luck to him. Um, the young boy, the midfielder that we've got, good luck to him, and Wheatley as well. Our striker's gone out. So all in all, when I look at it holistically, I'm very happy. I like this window. I think it's definitely sets a trend for future windows going forward. Although we didn't get everything that we need, I think one more window, you bring in one or two, I think we can really work with that.
Big up. So what would you rate it out of 10, Bombay?
Well, if I was talking 5 stars, I'd probably give it three, 3.5 stars, or maybe like a 7.5 out of 10 window for me. This.
Okay.
Big up.
Big up, guys. Big up, Ben. Big up, Lesso. Big up, Jarvis. Big up, Bombaye. Big up, Sean. Thank you, Ben, Jarvis, and Lesso for holding the fort while I was cycling back from the cinema. Love and light. I needed to watch a film just to, yeah. You know, I'm into cinema, so yeah, it is what it is, people. But it's love. Showed you a bit of Manchester. But
What movie did you see?
Saw the War of Roses. I don't know if you ever heard something.
Yeah.
The Roses. It's a British comedy about a couple, married couple, and stuff like
Wait
that.
a minute. You told me that you're going to that blue movie cinema, you liar.
Yeah.
Are you sure it was War of the Roses? War of the Dandies.
The shit he comes out with. Listen, so Bumbaye's gone out early. He said 7. That's interesting. So I wanted to hear from Sean. I don't know what Lesso gave. I don't know what Ben gave. Ben, what did you give the transfer window?
I give that a 4.5 out of 10.
Okay. Lesso, what did you give the transfer window?
Lesso?
Yeah, he'll be back. Right.
Yeah,
Bumbaye,
I give it.
Go on, Lesso.
I
hear
give
you,
it.
Go
Can you
ahead,
hear
we
me?
can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
I give it a 5.
Okay.
That's a 5 out of 5, he's saying.
Nah.
Wow.
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay, I want to hear from
5 out
Sean.
of 10.
Sean, go ahead. What are you giving to this
Big
transfer
up,
window?
Mr. Thomas.
And please
Big up,
explain
guys.
explain why. Don't just give it a score. Break it down and explain why.
Sure. I'll give
Big
them
up,
to me. I'll give them big up, Ben. Big up, guys. I'll give them a solid 7/10. This transfer window. And I'll tell you my reasons why. First of all, we addressed some key areas of weakness in the squad. We basically bought a whole new attack, and we got a new keeper. So that was very important. We were also able to get Premier League proven quality in key positions. So Cunha and Buemo. I think those are very underrated transfers. So that's the second thing. I think thirdly, we did not, in my opinion, overpay. So I think it's safe to say that gone are the days where, out of desperation or ignorance or incompetence or whatever, or a combination of all three, we were overpaying significantly for players. I think we negotiated well in the market for the players that we did get for decent, reasonable fees. And I guess like the last thing I would say is the bomb squad, right? It wasn't always under ideal terms. I wish we had gotten more for Garnacho, for example. But I think the club was able to successfully ship out, most, if not all, of the bomb squad, excluding Malaysia, and they were able to get. I mean, imagine if it was United that was having this saga with Isak or Guehi or Risa, right? I think we were able to, in a fairly, for United standards, fairly calm way, get Garnacho to the one club that he wanted to go to, get Anthony to the one club that he wanted to go to, get Rashford to the one club that he wanted to go to as well. And so, for all those reasons, right? And I guess I'll add one more reason to make it 5 and round. The last reason why for me it's 7/10 was because I never expected in the first place us to be able to sign 7 or 8 or 10 players. So, based on my expectations, based on the value of the players that we got, good fees, based on the quality of those players that we got, Premier League quality and bright youngsters, based on the fact that we're able to get rid of the players that we didn't want to in a difficult transfer market. I think all in all, it's a solid 7/10. In that it's a lot better than previous transfer windows, but it could be worse as well at the same time.
Big up, Sean.
Okay.
Jarvis, and then I'm gonna go after you. So go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah, we did a show on this yesterday. We asked a lot of difficult questions, and it's all about the process. I have to be honest. After last season, we ended 15th. We all know this. We lost the Europa League final, and I think it was the lowest of the low. We haven't been that bad since, was it 72, 73 season when we got relegated. So we needed an overhaul, and the level of these players are not good enough. I think Ineos started something. They started the process. They started to get out the highest highest wages of the club and wanted players with attitude. So I know this is a process, and we can't expect everything in just one window. So I will try to keep it sensible, but I don't agree with Sean when he say we didn't overpay. Okay, we didn't massively overpay, but we didn't negotiate well. We spent 7-8 weeks on Mbumo, and we gave them what they wanted. Cunha was a release clause. We overpaid a little bit for Lamens and the Lamens. I think when it comes to Sesko, I think it was a fair price considering the rest of the strikers that was sold this window. But we didn't do a bargain, but we didn't overpay. So I wouldn't be too over the moon because of the negotiations this summer. And the new goalkeeper, we don't know even if Sene Lamens is the first team goalkeeper or is it by India. You know, he's young. He comes from a league, that the Belgium league. You know, it's not even Club Brugge. It's not the best team. So, you know, do we expect too much from this young guy? You know, 23 being a goalkeeper, that's like being 17 if you were an outfield player. Because being a goalkeeper, you need experience. It's one of the toughest positions on the pitch. You are totally alone and everything is on you. You make one mistake, you end with a goal. You can make 10 mistakes in the midfield, won't lead to anything. So you have to be mentally strong. And being 23 as a goalkeeper, it's very tough. So I'm not sold on Sene Lamens or Lamens being the first team goalkeeper this season. Maybe it's just one for the future. We will know more in after the international break, but we will know. And if I should rate this window, I will ask myself this question: if I was Amorim, would I be happy after coming in 15th and losing and knowing the state of this squad? Would I be happy with the signings that Ineos Glazers brought me? And I think he's not. Deep inside, I think he's a little bit disappointed. He expected more. I think he wanted a midfielder, clearly. You know, why did we let Toby Collier on a loan? Why? No one knows. But it doesn't make sense. Something doesn't add up when it comes to this. So if I was Amorim, I would probably be disappointed with this window. And this is my reasoning, and I rated 4.5. Over to you, Nordin.
Big up everybody. Please keep smashing the like, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Big up Windy saying that, yeah, The Roses is named after the War of the Roses, the remake. Around here, Windy, in Lancashire, we're in Lancashire, Manchester's part of Lancashire, War of the Roses means Yorkshire, Lancashire. The battles between Yorkshire and Lancashire. Leeds, Manchester United, Yorkshire cricket, Lancashire cricket, battling it out. So it's interesting what things could mean. So please all mute people. I beg you, please do not interrupt me. I'm going to give my breakdown and I'm going to, so Sean, it's actually quite typical of the show. Very typical of this show. So Sean and Bumbaye give it 7 out of 10. I'm going to blow that out of the water and I'm going to break it down in sense why. I might be able to find the graph that I wanted to use to bring about. But big up to everybody. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. The United fans, before I start, the United fans that are saying Manchester United should appeal because Grimsby Town were a minute late in registering a player who played against us in the League Cup the other night, and that the investigation's been opened by the FA into Grimsby, and hopefully they're going to get fined. And United were given an option to appeal. They could call for a replay. The United fans who are saying that, I hope you're all joking. Please do not be a United supporter and tell me about rules. They beat us fair and square. The referee cheated them when it was 2-0. It should have been 3-0. and the lines person cheated them as well. It should have been 3-0. They should have saw that deflection. And I'm happy for Grimsby, and I hope that they get through to the next round and get a big away team and have a fantastic day. So that's the first order of business, right? The rest of it, for me, I give this. By the way, get involved in the community poll, people. So everybody get involved. How do you rate the transfer window? So we give it 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. And at this moment in time, by 10 points, 6 out of 10 is winning. So 6 out of 10 is winning. 4 out of 10 is 28. 5 out of 10 is 28. 6 out of 10 is 36. And 7 out of 10 is 9%. This is the Therapy Army poll.
6 is a pass mark. I'll take that.
Okay, no problem. No problem. The reason why this window is 4.5, in my opinion, and let me break it down. That's the thing I gave. And I said it the other night on Tactical Devils, so please go and check it out. We had a fascinating debate and a very insightful debate about what's going on, about Amarin, about everything. We're going to be having a similar conversation because that's what the conversations are when you have these type of channels that don't just go with clickbait. So that's what we're going to be doing on this channel as well. But let me just quickly break it down. The bomb squad was never something that was never needed. It was never something that was needed. It actually devalued the players' prices. And everybody and their nan knew that these agents were going to act. It could have had a constructive conversations with these owners. So Anthony didn't take me to 15. Rashford didn't take me to 15. Sancho didn't take me to 15. Who else? Malacia didn't take me to 15. The only player that was part of the squad that took me to 15 was Garnacho. Right? So in terms of bombing them out, I don't understand that. I genuinely don't understand that. I do not. I think tactically, Manchester United had 0 grounds to stand on. And they could have been sorting that out while the season was going on. So majority of the players could have been sorted in terms of the speaking to the agents while they were on loan. All of that could have been taken care of before. A first in class my ass BS, because I don't believe in any of that shit, would have done proper job at that. So that is a mark. That gets a mark and a half down. Boom for me. Number 2, Manchester United in the last 13 years, even when under Fergie, in the last 15 years, Manchester United have neglected one part of the football pitch, a position in the league. In the last 15 years, I remember after we beat Arsenal 8-2, Bumbaye can tell you this, I can confirm. I'll try to find the Facebook status. I wrote a Facebook status talking about, remember the Dutch player, Sneijder, and Lissandro, what was the guy called? He played for Chelsea and Real Madrid. He's a French player, midfielder. Lassana Diarra. I was talking about Lassana Diarra and Sneijder. I was talking about a guy who can tackle, who can get about the football pitch, and I was talking about a ball-playing midfield player. And this is under Fergie, right? So what I'm telling you is the last 15 to 16 years, Manchester United have neglected the most crucial part of the football pitch. And I, deep down in my heart, and with my limited footballing knowledge in terms of what I played, my 2 coaching badges that I do have, in that and everything football that I've watched, neglected the most important positions in the football pitch, which has led to the gradual decrease and decline of Manchester United as a football club. I repeat for the people at the back, has contributed, is a big factor as we decline as a football club. Majority of you understand the history of Manchester United midfield. If you are followed this, if you're old enough to follow this throughout the years, the balance wasn't there after Roy Keane. We got rid of, remember, we got Nicky Butt in, Paul Scholes, and that came in with Roy Keane. Remember that. We remember. Paul Ince left. Paul Ince, when he's about to sign the dotted line, Fergie rings him. Paul Ince takes the phone call in the kitchen because he's got the Italian people from Inter Milan in his living room ready to sign the contract. And Fergie says to him, don't do it. Don't do it. Please come back. And it's like, look, I've already got the removal people. The wife, the children are already set on it. And my child, his son, was already set on it. We're going. I'm sorry, but we're going. Right. That give you historical context. So, in my humble opinion, in my truly humble opinion, and I'm saying it now and I'm saying it on record, Manchester United did not have to sign this season Sesko. They could have kept another year for Rasmus and Zertsky and then go for Sesko or get another striker next season. And I think the money that should have been spent with the money that they tried to get Belabor, Manchester United could have sorted out 3 positions. And the other reason is that you could have got an experienced goalkeeper. We knew from Bandia last season and Unana, they were not the guys. And the fact that they remain at this football club is laughable to me. And they're going to cost this club more points as we go throughout the season. So that's a massive 1.5 point drop as well, right? So we could have got, for me, a number 2 from around Europe who's stable, and then Lamins to learn from that guy. So Lamins doesn't get the pressure that he's going to get. And by the way, from all the reports that I've read since he signed, it's basically indicating the fact that Lamins is not going to be playing. He's going to be pushed in, and he's bought as a number 2. He's bought as a number 2, and that's what he was bought. And then when if Unana gets picked by Cameroon, and Manchester United are apparently thinking Cameroon have got a good team that they're gonna go long way in the AFCON, so then Lamins could be the guy to step in, but that is till January, right? That's till January, so he's got time to be embedded. And by the way, we could have signed this player if that was the plan. 7, 8 months, we could have signed him 8 to 10 weeks ago. This player should have been signed. So he would have been integrated already for the amount of money we will go out to spend. So that is marked down from the 7. I think I've said what I've said. So anybody can go ahead, refute that, disagree with that, all you want. I've given you reason. I have broke it down into categories. The outs, the goalkeepers, the midfielders. Manchester United did not do anything about that. And the last thing I would say, you could buy the greatest strikers in world football. You could have the greatest winger in world football. If you don't have people who are in midfield who are going to give them the ball, who are then going to win the ball back when we lose it, when they lose it, to give it to them again, they are not going to be able to have the ball or sustain. In this system, it's already asking Imbermo and Cunha to drop deep. By the time they've gone up there and they've road challenges, then we're asking them to sprint back and help defend. That is relying, taking too much out of the foot, too much, and is reminiscent to the Eric Ten Hag football, what I call the basketballification, where when we lose possession because we're not ready, we haven't got players to win the ball back in the crucial areas, everybody's going to be doing this. And that, to me, is a big red. In terms of Amarin was let down. I think it was after one of the games, I think he said, if I'm not mistaken, Leeds. After Leeds in Sweden, was it in Sweden? Yeah, I think it was in Sweden.
Yeah.
After we played Leeds in Sweden, he said, the midfield, I need athleticism in the midfield. He then continued that. And then go and watch back what Bruno said after the Fiorentina game. He said, we need more players. Go and look at it. Go and read it. Go and research it. Bruno made an impassioned speech and was basically telling the owners to bring in more players, meaning that we need midfield. This gimmick of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro in midfield is done out here. That's my points. I'm going to mute now and listen to everybody's rebuttal about it.
I mean, and I'm not gonna. I'll defer to Bumaye to go into details on the rebuttal. But from my perspective, I think it's unfair, and I would say unrealistic to penalize this transfer window for not solving what are systemic and legacy problems of United. So if you're going back all the way to Paul In to talk about the midfield issues, I don't know if we should penalize Ineos for not solving that problem in this particular transfer window. I think with regards to Sesko, it could go either way. I think there's definitely an argument to be made that we shouldn't have spent that money on a striker, and especially one who isn't ready to walk straight into the team. But we've effectively bought, I think, at least 3 or 4 years worth of potential, provided that Sesko doesn't turn out like Hoyland. So it's an investment in the future, which also I guess tracks for me. But all in all, I think the reason why for me it's a 7, and I'm even fine with the 6, is because I did not expect Ineos to solve all the problems of United in one transfer window. I don't think that was a reasonable expectation, and I wouldn't judge them for failing to not live up to an unreasonable demand or expectation from the fans. So in the midfield thing, I think is where people critics have the strongest points in the sense that Amorim plays a two-man midfield. He needs very specialized, very technical, very specific midfielders to do it. And for some strange reasons, we didn't buy any midfielder this summer. So that's one where I'll concede that the critics have a point. But aside from that, on any day, Obremo, Cunha, Sesko, and Lamens, I think are decent signings, decent enough to warrant at least a 6/10 rating.
Sean, can I say something? Because we talk about this window, and I just want to say, yeah, we as Man United fan can rate this window, and some can be positive, some can be negative, and that's we are a big fan base. People have different opinions, but let's put it into perspective because everything is relative, and I try to see it relative to our competitors, our rivals in the top, let's say top 5, top 6. And if you look at the list of what other
Wow.
teams have signed, look at Chelsea. João Pedro, they signed Garnacho, they signed so many talented players. Liverpool, Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Kirkes, Ekitike, Isaac, to name a few, but I think they signed 10 or 11 players. Arsenal, they signed Subamendi, Nurgård, Madueke, Gyökeres, Esse, and Manchester City. Then you have Art Nouri, Cherki, Reinders, Donnarumma, and even Spurs, they signed Xavi Simons, João Palhinha. So many talented players. So relative to our rivals, do you think we have strengthened in the, let's say, the top 5, top 7, top 8, even top 10 race? Because I feel we
This
are
is
lagging behind now.
Jarvis, I think that's a much more complicated question, in my opinion, than just rating the transfer window. Because I think a lot of that has to do with Amorim's system itself and the way he's choosing to play. My starting point has always been that the team we have is good enough on paper for a top 8 finish. At least the team, from my perspective, is good enough to compete with any of the Chelsea, Tottenham for a top 8 spot. But Amorim himself is costing us at least 10 to 5 to 10 league positions, basically, which is where we find ourselves in the 10 to 15 range. So I don't think I have a good answer for that question, Jarvis, other than to say, from my perspective, I think it's more complicated and it has more to do with Amorim than the signings alone.
Let me come in on that then. I think with regards to relative to our rivals, that statement in itself, are they our rivals? I don't think they are anymore, because a couple of reasons. First of all, Liverpool have spent 2 transfer windows worth of money this season because they didn't sign any players last season. If they did, they wouldn't have been able to spend what they spent. And Liverpool also notoriously sell exceptionally well, even their youth players. Guys like Kelleher are going for near 20, Quansah 25, 30, something like that. They're very good. So they've raised a lot of money as well. So if you look at their net spend and divide it by 2 transfer windows, it's actually quite, financially efficient. But remember, it's 2 lots of transfer windows in one. So with regards to also, you don't have Europe. There's no Champions League football here. So gone are the days where Manchester United is the promised land. Now there are other attractive propositions like Liverpool, like Chelsea, even Tottenham is an attractive proposition. We're looking, if you look at the wages that we pay, we're looking to restructure things a little bit more sensibly to be financially viable. And I think that is a good step towards competing with them, is relative to competing with them, because we, for far too long, are giving out exuberant amounts of money, which is a big risk if a player doesn't work. And going back to what Nuruddin said about, I think he's taking it a little bit lightly for me. We've tried to offload players that were bought for a lot of money on very high wages and failed for the last 2 years. I think this is the first time you've managed to get every single one out in one transfer window. The reason that to me is vital, let me reiterate, is because our managers are plagued. We're the only club that's plagued with this type of behavior and these type of incidents. You never hear anything like this about City, about Liverpool, about anybody. And if you do, it doesn't linger. Manchester United constantly, the managers. We go back to Ten Hag. If we now talk about Ruben Amorim, it's always Sancho. What did Garnacho do? What's happening with Marcus Rashford? These types of nuisances, we need them out of the team. We need them out. We need to be able to concentrate. And these players don't want to be here anyway. In certain ways, they've said that they don't want to be here. And going back to what Sean said, to get Anthony to Betis is a hell of a thing, considering you paid 80 something million pounds for him. To get Sancho out to Villa, to get Rashford to the only club that he really wanted, is not a small thing to be scoffed at, because we failed in that endeavor previously. So I'm hoping that Ruben Amorim now can relax. That pressure's gone. And this nuisance of players that can wreck a dressing room, it really can affect a dressing room when players are, behaving like this off the pitch. We need to have a settled environment to work. With regards to midfielders, that is the one thing that the club acknowledges we need that. But I think they have made a judgment call and said to Rubes, you're going to have to do with Ugarte and Casemiro and Fernandez, and we've got a lot there for you to put something together. But I can't deny that we did make inquiries about Carlos Baleba, but gulped at the 100 million, considering we'd spent 215 million at that point anyway. He came into the picture after we'd made these signings. 100 million is a serious amount of money. And then I go back to the fact that I entered this not expecting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players. I never thought that. I didn't expect much, because the narrative before the season finished, even on our shows, is that it's going to be a travesty. They're not going to back him. There's no money. But I'm surprised at what we have laid out. We also tried to get Conor Gallagher in 48 hours before the window. We made an approach for him, but Atletico Madrid turned us down. A loan move for that guy. And then you've got the Adam Wharton. It just nothing serious, but they acknowledge we need a midfielder. Now, sometimes if you don't get the guy that you want in this transfer market, you remember Van Dijk at Liverpool. Liverpool said, all right, we're not going to get him this year, but he's the one that we want, and we're going to wait for him instead of just buying another one. Maybe it is Carlos Baleba, or they have their eyes set on somebody and they're going to try in January or next summer to get the one that they absolutely want. There's nothing wrong with that, because 100 million is just too much for Carlos Baleba. It's not a small amount of money. So with that being said, it's about perspective. It's about holistic perspective. I'm divorced from who's making the signings. I'm not going to have my judgment affected by, bringing my emotions about Ineos into it. I'm looking at this transfer window in the many facets that I was concerned about. They have all been satiated to an extent, especially with the outgoings. That is a massive relief for somebody like me. And the incomings, man, I have to say, minus a midfielder, I would have taken that, because this team, more than anything, it does lack goals. It does lack some finishing ability. I mean, last year we could go through the amount of games where just not finishing has cost us. If we can start turning that around, if Ruben Amorim gets the time to work with what he's got now, I think we can climb the table and have a much better season than last year. But he has to also pull his weight. He has to earn his keep. I can't absolve him because we didn't get him Carlos Baleba. Without Carlos Baleba, now what you have, you need to make something of it. Whether you tweak things, you change things a bit. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Okay, I'm going to refute a couple of things that you said, and Sean has said. Sean has said this graph that I showed is a chronic thing. But Sean, I was told that we've got the best in class, and so I don't care. When I'm told that we've got, let me finish, please let me finish, and then you can rebuttal. I was told that these are the footballing people, the best in the footballing people. That's what I was told, and we've been drummed into that for 2 years nearly now. They've had 2 transfer windows, 2 summers to make this correction, and they refuse to do so. And this graph, big up whoever made this graph, by the way, but this here it shows you Fellaini 13, 15 Herrera, 16 we had I mean, we had Schneider and 2 of the worst midfielders at that time. Pogba, obviously Matic, Fred, and then nobody. Then Van der Beek was somebody that was forced on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's why he treated him the way he treated him, because there was a power struggle between what the advice Woodward was getting from the club, from the scouting club, and what Ollie wanted. And Ollie wanted at that time, if I'm not mistaken, Grealish. I remember faintly being at Old Trafford and Grealish scoring a wonder goal to beat us 1-0, and walking off the pitch, him and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were talking as they went off the pitch. And by any means, everybody was considering that Manchester United were going to sign Grealish. But then I think City did that to spite United. They didn't need Grealish. Amrabat, Ugarte, I thought Amrabat did all right, me personally, if you ask me. He was combative, and he's one of the reasons why we won that FA Cup against Man City. 100 million%. His positioning against Man City in the FA Cup final was superb. Ugarte, 50-something million the club spent on him under Ineos's watch. Is what it is. So I shall remove this. So that I don't buy that. This is chronic thing. No, I was told I was getting the best in class, and I was heavily propagandized, being told that you're getting the best in class. So I'm not having that one.
No, but you seem to think that that's a gotcha.
Let me finish. You can both rebuttal. Bumbaye says, I'm not going to get involved. And people are like, we haven't got money. Manchester United have always had money. The owners have money. The only money that anybody's ever spent is that buying 28% of the football club. It was negotiated that 300 million was put in by Radcliffe and Ineos to do the project in terms of the renovation of the new, the new Carrington and the rebuild of Carrington, revamping Carrington. That's where some of the money to. I'm sorry to say to both, and this is where Bombay, because you don't know this, so I excuse your lack of knowledge in this, but Manchester United generate money still. Even though we've been so shit in those years, Manchester United still generate. They put up ticket prices. The club now sell the top 5 games, the top 6 games that we play. Newcastle, we play City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, and somebody else, I think. We play Spurs. That's it, 6 games. The tickets on a match sale on that day are up to 90 to 100 quid. So they've moved it. The tickets for the youngsters, for the elderly, for the pensioners, all of them being priced out. All of them gone. So they're not. So I'm sorry to say, Manchester United sacked 500 people. So I'm sorry to say to me, oh, we didn't know they had any money. They're the ones who made the decision with the coach to fuck off the league and to focus on this bullshit Europa League. So I'm sorry, the decision lies with them. They are the people responsible. Okay. Another point I wanted to make in terms of well, this and that. No, they could have done some of these transfers way earlier and integrated some of them. And I just want to mention to people, Diego Leon and Cunha are not part of this summer's transfer window. They are part of last year's transfer window. Because we bought Diego Leon as a kid for something like 10 or 12 million from a T in Ecuador. Is it Ecuador? Is he from Ecuador or one of those countries anyway?
Yeah.
And Cunha, we met the buyout clause, and that was put on the books from last season. Manchester United, by all reports, because the people who they get the briefing from, this is the sonographers, which is the Athletic, they're told there was a meeting in Iceland where they went fishing, where Amarin and everybody else was invited. Wilcox, Barada, they were all there, and they basically sat and said they've opened up a credit than you, because Manchester United, when they get loans, they actually pay down the loans. We paid down over $1 billion in the loans, in the money that we spent for the Glazers originally bought the club for, which was 700 million, which they didn't put a penny of their money. So I'm sorry, you're not divorcing them. You try the mental gymnastics you want all day. You're not divorcing them from the reality of where Manchester United are in terms of recruitment and in terms of where we are and the players that we have and the positions what we're in. You cannot divorce
let me answer you.
Oh, no. My last point is that Lamins could have been integrated a long time ago. Manchester United are so inept in transfer window. While other clubs can negotiate multiple transfer windows, this Manchester United, Branchester, is only can do one player at one point. It's embarrassing and amateurish at this level. Majority of clubs up and down the league negotiate for multiple players at the same time. That is something that's been found, and everybody understands what I'm talking about, unless you don't pay attention. Liverpool at one point had. I agree. The only thing I agree with you, Bumbaye, is that those are not rivals anymore. Because I used to come on this channel and I used to go on Tactical Devils and I would talk about it on Saeed TV and everywhere else and say Manchester United are a decade away for competing for the league, because the damage the Glazers have done is going to try to, if you need loads of money to be pumped in, you need a billionaire who's got money to be able to pump in to do what who said? Ranić said, open heart surgery. You can't be half pregnant, you can't half press, you can't half do a, what we call, what's the word they use? A rebuild. Or a, what's the other thing they, was it a rebuild? Yeah, a rebuild. You can't do half rebuild. You either do it or you don't. The crucial areas in this team was the midfield, and everybody and their nan can see it. And I have demonstrated it by showing you the graph that the chronic lack of consistent signings in midfield has cost this football club to where it was, yet they wanted to go and get another potential in Sesko who's going to take another season to adapt while fixing the goalkeeper situation and the midfield. And you two have not answered that at all whatsoever. All I'm hearing is excuse.
Let me just jump in before Maya goes. Maya, real quick, let me just jump in before everyone else goes. Just to point out that, there's such a thing called motivated reasoning, right? That's what happens when people work backwards from conclusions, and the analysis is therefore tainted. I think everything I'm hearing is all motivated reasoning, right? I cannot convince you otherwise about Ineos. Not interested, not even going to try. But when you say they told us that they were best in class,
I'm dealing with the facts, Sean.
Sure.
That's what they brief. That's what they
right.
brief.
When you say
Andy Mitten and
so you asked me not to interrupt now, right? So you don't interrupt me either. But when they said
information,
when they said they're hiring best in class, right? A statement that you yourself did not believe at the time. So when you bring that up, when you bring that up right now, right? You bring up they told us that it was best in class. That's not actual analysis, right? You're saying that as some kind of gotcha, right? They told us you were going to hire best in class. Yeah, not interested in persuading. Bumai, go ahead.
Bro, look, when I say divorcing my personal feelings about Ineos from what I've actually seen in terms of a transfer window. I don't want my judgment affected. So I looked at what we did business wise and I take it for what it is. If I allow myself to be emotionally influenced because I don't like what Ineos have done to the staff and things like that, it will affect the way I perceive this transfer. So that's why I divorced them, bro. With regards to the finances, now you will know more about this than me. You and Jarvis and maybe Ben and maybe Sean. Um, from what I was hearing um, on the main street, that we are skating quite close to PSR, and we've made net losses. If you look at the season gone by, so that was a consideration. And with regards to Europe, I think when Manchester United make a decision with quite a bit left of the season that we need European football in the interest of the transfer market, in the interest of satisfying PSR not going over, we're going to put our eggs in the European basket. I think that tells you how important not having Champions League football this season affects the bottom line. And therefore, I think we, the fans, in ticket prices, and it's affected things. Maybe if you had Champions League football, you might have got that midfielder. We were all kind of banking on that because that's another 100 million, maybe more. And you've also got to think that's how many less games at Old Trafford stadium revenue is that this year? It's a lot of money. So that there is a consideration also toward why maybe things are the way they are. You know, that I have to consider that. Um, so these are the 2 points as well that you need to consider when I'm looking at this transfer window. The PSR that we're very close to breaching. I think I read we were like 2 million away from breaching it. And this is why I think you didn't get a midfielder. It's not that they didn't want one. I think they acknowledge, but Ruben Amorim, unfortunately, because we didn't get Champions League, he's going to have to find a way to use what he's got to, make a success of it. And it's less, I think, of a task because now you're out of the Carabao Cup. You have no European football. You've got a lot of midfielders down, a lot of time to work. Surely you can make it work. Surely they can put a shift in for 90 minutes once a week, sometimes once a fortnight. It's not a big ask. Do you know what I mean? And I think you are also got to consider there's going to be maybe some discontent along the lines of this season because of the lack of games available to quite a packed team, especially in the tens area. So there's going to be people like Xerxes, maybe Ahmad. Who knows if Mizraoui is going to come into it a bit. Martinez has got to come back yet. So there's going to be some discontent as well because I can't play you. We don't have the games. It's one game a week, and if you miss that now, you got to wait for the next week. That's 2 weeks you've not played. So that's a concern for me. So yeah, that's what I did on what you said.
Okay, no
Yeah,
worries.
when,
I'll go to Ben, and then drivers can come in.
yeah,
But I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I genuinely do not buy that because the intensity of the games, even though we've only got one game a week, the Premier League still, we are not a physical team. So you could still play people and rotate people and actually give proper rest to players. You can still do that when you've got one game a week and actually do the test to find out who's got the energy, who's more fresher. So that could have been done. So I don't buy this because the games itself are intense. But go ahead.
You have to consider, but consider form as a factor in your argument. When somebody's on form and you can't get into the team, the Carabao Cup or a Europa League game against can get you 45 minutes so to stay ready and give a cameo. But when all you have is that one game a week in the Premier League, then simply form will dictate.
It's only
who
till
plays.
January. It's only till January because we got the FA Cup in January. And by the way, Manchester United, I don't know if you, because obviously you're not a person who looks into this. We were nowhere near any of the PSR because Manchester United registered actually. The way we registered Manchester United in terms of for the PSR, we registered another company. And actually that company, where we are in the PSR, is right at the top. We're nowhere near close to PSR, by the way. We're nowhere close. And we've sold Garnacho, right? Selling Garnacho, that helps a lot. We've also got money from Ilanga, Fernandez, and in this transfer window, we made, I think, £90 million. That's how much money Manchester United have made. So Manchester United are nowhere near Pesa. But go ahead, Ben, and then go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I see everyone's points, really, but there's a lot of like debates and stuff. But realistically, like, what could really solve these issues that were, this window's had? It's realistically what happened at the start of the window, which was the Bruno Fernandes links to Saudi Arabia. Like, if Bruno Fernandes went for 115 or 110 million, whatever Al Hilal were asking, sorry, what Man United were wanting from Al Hilal, then it would have been a completely different story, because you think about it though. Anthony was on £200,000 a week. That's freed up a lot of wages. There, he was sold for 21 million. Hoyland was sold for 6 million fee plus a 43 million euros if Napoli qualify for the Champions League, which I think they will. Who else have they sold? They sold Garnacho. That would free up so many wages. They've sold Ericsson, 150k a week. They've sold Johnny Evans, 60k a week. Garnacho, like I said, he was on 50k a week. Like, there's so many things, and Nurden's just said that they've just freed up 90 million of outgoings. Now, that's not including Hoyland's 43 million euros loan, like your obligation. That's just for his loan fee, and then the rest, obviously, whatever they add up to. That there, if you freed up 90 million, and we've spent what I think it was 230 million pounds or euros, like that's equating to like 135 million pounds, and you see that, obviously 100% agree with Bombay when you mentioned that, Liverpool, Arsenal, like, they're not our rivals. 100% I agree, man. Like, that's one thing I could definitely agree on, but it's just like, the thing is, man, like, we've got rid of midfielders, so many midfielders in the past, and we've not replaced them. I can go on for days, and past previous transfer windows, man, who we've got rid of, and we never replaced them, and it's just getting beyond the joke, man. Even like with the goalkeeper situation, you've still got two keepers there, that we don't even know what the features are going to be in terms of Bayendir, Onana. We should have at least got Martinez as well in, just to help Le Mans. But like, like I said, man, like, we're all giving Ineos props to getting rid of the bomb squad. How can they be the bomb squad if you've still got Diego Dalot here, who's been here for several fucking years? You've still got McDonald still here and Luke Shaw. You've still got Mason Mount, who was bought by the Glazers ownerships, not by Ineos. Now, even though I don't like Ineos, but they weren't bought by that regime. You've got, there's, hang on, I'm just going through, didn't even mention, Lindelof was 130 bags a week. So yes, his contract was fully terminated, but the 130 bags a week is what, about 2.5, 3 million pounds, a year. So like, like I said, man, and on top of that, what Nurden said, we sold Fernandez for a sell-on clause. We got Anthony Alanga's sell-on clause. Realistically, Nurden's saying 90 million pounds has came into Manchester United, but realistically, it's probably 120 million if you're including all the wages too. This brings back to, like, I don't believe this, but this would be a propaganda, like Ineos bootlickers would say this. When Sir Jim was speaking to Gary Neville, he says the debt will come down naturally. So I'm just thinking, with that income coming in with the outgoings, yes, it's not a lot of, for them, it's not really a lot of money because they're still losing money. That they haven't, obviously, they didn't gain any net this year, obviously, from the outgoings. But even still, it's still money coming through. Maybe he's adding that 120 million or whatever and actually dropping the debt down. Now, that's what Ineos bootlickers would do, you would say. But I don't agree with that. I think we've seen it in the past. Glazers will always take dividends out of this football club, and this is it, man. But like I said, like, there's just no excuse. Like, realistically, we've only spent 130 million this summer. I think that Bruno Fernandes was the biggest thing, Nurden, because you think about it, Nurden, he's on 300 bags a week or 350 bags a week. He could have freed up so much, Nurden. We could have bought two midfielders.
Ben, this is what they call. This is what they call all roads lead to Rome, right? Every single problem can be laid at the foot of your specific agenda, Bruno Fernandes. I love it.
No, but Sean, in a business perspective, we've never sold a player, a Manchester United player, in around that margin since Cristiano Ronaldo. And if the Glazers and Ineos are sitting there saying, right, this guy's making us money, he's our poster boy. We've just got offered £115 million now. £115 million. That could have freed up so
According
much.
to reports, Ben, we must
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that
Horner,
according
yeah. Horner reports, but it could have freed up so much, Sean. And actually, it actually would have, like, for top clubs as well. This is what I always wanted to do, like Man United to do, is just put out statements out there, like actually make top clubs say, "Oh fuck, Man United are coming back here." They just got rid of rival says their best player for 100 million. The thing is, man,
But
it
the but
just
the counterfactuals are in this now,
Sean,
right?
hold you.
Perhaps. Okay, sorry.
Sean,
Go ahead.
please.
Yeah.
Sean,
Sorry.
hold your thing. I want to go to Jarvis because he can't be here too late. Jarvis had a wildy old weekend somewhere in Europe this weekend, and he had a fantastic time. But I think his head is still a bit sore. So Jarvis cannot be with us. So I'm going to ask Jarvis 2 questions. Jarvis, I want to get your points into the Bombaye and Sean, the rebuttals that they were making about what I said. What bits do you agree or disagree? And then the last question of the show, I'm going to give it to you. I think you already answered it, but how long has Amorim got? Because in my opinion, Amorim's doomed. Unless Amorim does a miracle where he's coaching his socks off, so much so that Manchester United somehow make it to 8th or 9th in the season without losing too many games and without bleeding too much. So that is what my mentality is thinking. So is he going to coach? Is he going to be able to fill those holes that are there as clear as a daylight? The problems with the goalkeepers, the problem in midfield. Is he going to be able to fill them and override them by some miracle of coaching? So go ahead. First, I'll ask you, what do you think what Sean was saying? What do you think? If he doesn't do it, Jarvis, how long do you think he has? Because I personally think in the window, the way the window's been, he is not being backed. The only person that actually got money in the 2 years that they were there, that the only coach that was backed was Eric Ten Hag. And even he wasn't backed properly. So that just leaves you another question, by the way. But every other coach, Amorim's found out, every other coach. And the graph I keep showing, every other coach, the years are there. The years are there. Mourinho didn't want Fred. Manchester United just bought him because they were advised. And at that time, Ed Woodward was using a consultancy. And they said, Fred. And actually, at that time, Shakhtar Donetsk only wanted like 20-something million. But they gave them 50. It's there. Everybody can see that. Go and look it up. You don't believe me, you don't believe me.
Could have gotten Fellaini on a buyout clause, but we missed it.
Yeah.
So we overpaid. But when it comes to the money, Mumbai mentioned about 100 million. It's a lot of money, but when you look at it now in the modern market, the inflation is high, and it's not like the average inflation that you and I and everybody has because of the gas prices up and the electrical bill is up and food prices up. That's not the inflation in football. The inflation in football comes from one thing, and that's the TV money and the prize money is getting higher, so the clubs earn more money. So if you have more money, the prices will go up. So the inflation goes up. And why is the inflation going up now at the current moment? The new Champions League and the new Club World Cup. So the clubs have more money to spend. You could clearly see it. The clubs that have qualified spend more money. Look at Liverpool. Look at Manchester City. Look at Arsenal. Look at these clubs that we are competing with. They are spending twice as we are. And I think we are falling behind. And, if we are broke, that's okay. But we can spend money. So are we willing to push? Are we willing to be in the race or not? Because in a couple of years it could be too late. The Champions League money will only be higher, and TV money, and we can miss out. So that's a worry. I want us to spend a little bit more. We have to be aggressive in the market, and I feel we are passive right now. We are saving up for a rainy day, and I think what we are saving up for, and the blindfold in front of all of our eyes, is the stadium. They are spending, they are saving up because they need money for the stadium. It will be a big thing, and but it only comes from one thing. It's a negligence from the Glazers during the last 20 years. They haven't been refurbishing Old Trafford in the way they should. You know, it was a perfectly fine stadium. It was the best stadium in the world, but you know they need a new stadium so they can sell the club, and the target is 10 billions, 10 billions. And you know, this is why we are sitting here arguing among each other about money and transfers, but we have a structure that doesn't back us. And people got to be aware. We think that Ineos is the one that is controlling everything, but you know, if anyone read today's Athletics, you know, the Glazers, they are attending an exec- executive committee meetings on a day-to-day matter. So they are around and they talk with Ineos, and you know, this committee sits below the shareholders and board meetings. It's just something else. It's day-to-day matter that the Glazers attend every day. So if people think that Ineos is running the show, you know, take off your blindfolds, because they're not. Ineos are still here, but you know, Glazers are the guys who are taking the blame right now. So no, the Ineos are the guys who are taking the blame right now, and this is the deal the Glazers made. You know, no pressure down. They can just sit there and refuse to spend money because they have one goal: new stadium and to sell 10 billions. So everybody has to be aware. So okay, back to the Ruben Amorim. The Glazers don't care about Ruben Amorim. You know, it doesn't matter for them if we come in 10th or 7th or 6th next season. I'm not sure. You know, because they have a plan and the plan is going accordingly. Things are falling into place. They are getting rid of the high earners. We are getting in some mediocre earners, so the expenses will be less, um, and we will have more revenue. And they hide behind the lie that Sir Jim Ratcliffe came out with in the interview with Gary Neville in December, or was it January, saying that we are almost bankrupt. And they kept the charade by cutting down on lunches in the cantina, only soup for you, the soup Nazi thing, you know, no soup for you, breadcrumbs. This is
Fruit.
this is
No
yeah.
fish. No fish for you. No meat. Sandwiches.
And this is where we are at the moment. You know,
Embarrassing.
we have to be clear. We have to keep our eyes on the target, and that's the Glazers and Ineos. And I know in every debate it goes back to the one thing.
All
So
roads lead to the onus. I'm sorry.
yeah, but I think it's good for everybody to be reminded one time and another of the current situation and why we are not spending money. Don't believe the PSR bullshit, or that we are bankrupt and we don't have any money. We have a credit line of credit of 300 millions. And on the meeting on Iceland, Reykjavik or whatever, they agreed and they paid back a lot of money. Was it 70, 80, 90 million on the line of credit? So suddenly we had a lot of leeway when it came to the credit card. But we weren't aggressive. We are just paying it to not pay interest, and now suddenly we don't have money to buy a midfielder. Yeah, that's a big problem.
But
And
how is
and
this
you know,
going to
yeah,
affect Amarin? That's what I want to get to
it
before we
will
let you.
affect Amorim. So I'm getting to that part. And I think the biggest problem now for Amorim is he's the scapegoat. He's the guy who will take the blame. And you know, we are fickle as fans. We are emotional. So as soon as we lose a game or two or three, it's Amorim. The fucking 4-3-4-3 system. It's not working in England. Amorim, he has no experience. Blah blah blah. But you know, what can you expect? You know, he didn't get a midfielder, the heart of the football. You know, if you ever play the game yourself, you know how important a midfielder is. The guy who runs up and down, wins every duel, serves the striker, helps out in defense, do everything, receive the passes, turn, and make things happen. And now we have Bruno and Casemiro. We have Ugarte. Hopefully, Maino can come good, but he's still young. He has had one good season, one bad season. Who knows what this season will bring? He has a bright future ahead, but maybe not this season. So we need someone to help him out. Then we have Bruno, and now we have injuries on Mason Mount and Cunha. So Bruno will most likely play in the 10. So we are back to 3 midfielders. So, yeah, we will see. But I think Amorim will take the blame. I don't think he will survive the season, unfortunately.
If Amorim gets any blame, it will be for things that he deserves to be blamed for. I don't want us to absolve Amorim of responsibility by putting it all on Ineos or on the Glazers or whatever. Amorim has choices to make with regards to the starting 11 and with regards to the formation that he picks, the style of play or the system or whatever. If those choices result in failure, as they have to date, he's responsible for that failure. Full stop. Right? We don't need to make this a whole Ineos or Amorim is responsible for certain things. The way people talk about like the ownership, right? When I look around football, aside from Saudi-owned clubs, aside from Saudi-owned clubs or state-backed clubs like Barcelona and Madrid, our maneuvering in the transfer markets to me seems reasonable relative to how every other club operates, especially in the last 2 years. I don't see anything like since we stopped overpaying for players. The signings we've made since Ineos came, to me, are in line with the regular smart type of signings that we've seen other ownership groups make in the transfer window. So we're not going to solve all the problems of the legacy of the last 12 years in one transfer window, and it's reasonable to expect that we would, best in class or whatever or not. And then also, Amorim has himself to blame for the situation that United is in right now. So even if Ineos had given him Baleba, just as they gave him Dorgu, he could choose to play Baleba as a striker, right? The same way when Dorgu came, he played Dorgu on the right. So then it will be Ineos' fault, right? If Amorim doesn't use what he's given well. So I think Amorim has all the tools necessary to guarantee a European place finish for United this season, whether that's Champions League or Europa. I think we have a good enough team to get to Europe this season. And so if Amorim fails to do that, that's because of Ruben Amorim, not because of Ineos or anything like that. Amorim has to be responsible at some point for the outcomes on the pitch.
Okay, fundamentally disagree. I think that there are things that you can blame Amorim for, the stupidity and tactics he does, but I do not blame him because he didn't hire himself. He was bought here. They knew the lay of the land. They knew he was a young coach from league that's outside the top 5 leagues in Europe. A league that's outside the top 5 leagues in Europe he came from, regardless of what the success. We already knew failure happens when you bring those kind of coaches, and his system demands so much of players, yet we didn't. They sacked the only guy who told them this is going to be a disaster. The guy that tried to save last season was Dan Ashworth. I'd like to thank Dan Ashworth for trying, and he got the bullet. Because like Jarvis likes to say, because of the chemistry. That's what Jim the Rat Glazer told everybody. Because there was no chemistry. No chemistry. That's the reason why. I mean, it's the most ludicrous answer you'll ever get. I don't know who told him that, who runs his PR, but it's just embarrassing. Jarvis, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Go and get some rest. Big up to you. Jarvis will be live. I think you guys will be live tomorrow or Thursday.
No, Thursday. Thursday is a tactical show. Stu and I will do. I will bring on some guests. We will break down the offside trap, the new offside trap for
which is ridiculous, by the way. From what I saw on Saturday, was absolute fucking joke because Luke Shaw and some of these guys do not have a fucking clue about it. I was so embarrassed. I was near the halfway line. Bumbaye knows where we sit sometimes when we go to games. And I can see, and I'm like, what are you doing? How? And the lips like this. You don't fucking see. Can you not see where your guys are? It's the most lopsided.
Yeah, it's not good, man. That
I
offside trap is bad. It's not good. We have to fix that. They have
I
to
hope
fix
they work on it. I hope they work on it. I
Yeah.
hope
So
they
so
do.
guys, tune in on Thursday, 9
Thursday.
p.m. Tactical Devils, Stu and I.
Yeah, make sure,
Yeah.
people. Make sure.
Okay.
Big
Have
up,
a good
Jav.
night.
Big
Yeah,
up,
Good
big
night,
up,
man.
big up,
Love.
big up.
Job, Jarvis.
Yeah, I'm not gonna blame everything on Amarim. There are things that you can blame. I think two things can be true. Things that you can blame Amarim for, and there are things that you cannot blame Amarim for. But I just want to update people on the poll. So the poll, over 100 people have voted. There's more people who voted on the poll than have liked the video. Instead of when you voted on the poll, can you also smash the like on the video? What's wrong with you people? You already got the cursor there. Why don't you do it at the same time? It's unbelievable. So nearly 120 people have voted. So let's go through it. How do you rate the transfer window? So we said 7 out of 10, 13%. 6 out of 10, 27%. 5 out of 10, 32%. 4 out of 10, 28%. So between 6 out of 10 and 4 out of 10, there's only 1% in it. And from 5 out of 10 and 28%, there's only, there's 4 in it. So 4 points. But yeah, unfortunately, Therapy Army is not agreeing with Bumbaye and Sean. That is another thing. It won't be the first. It won't be the last. Bumbaye, come on in. I want to talk to you. So how much are you blaming Amarim for? So let me just say this. They bought him in November. He had a January transfer window. They actually agreed. They told him we need to get people out. And he actually sent people out on loan when we were still in Europe and that. And they took away goals and assists potentially away from him. Then they did whatever they did. And he came out in a presser. I just want to remind people when they said, what are you doing? Why are you giving the league games away? Like he said, the club have told him to start the process now in terms of him playing his system. And he said that was one of the guarantees that he was given when he came. Because obviously on the record and off the record, they said, you can come. And he was like, this is a non-negotiable for me. Me bringing my coaching staff and me playing my system. That's non-negotiable. The other day, he was pressed heavily in the presser against Burnley. Heavily pressed, by the way, by 3 or 4 journalists. If you watch the press conference, I know you don't, but let me just relay to you. They said to him, why are you inflexible? Why would you not change? And his answer was, I have played 4-4-2 all my career football or 4-3-3. That's all I've played. He said 4-2-2, 4-4-2, 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. That's how I've played all my life, he said.
As a player.
This system, he said as a player, but he said this system, there are elements, and he's not going to go into it in detail, but he said there are benefits to the system. And soon as the players have mastered it and have closed their eyes, he said if they can close their eyes, they know positions where they need to be, then I'm happy to change. But he said, if I change it now, I am a dead man walking because the players have gone with him all these battles, all these months. Now it's nearly 10 months now in Manchester United, all the battles. So if I was to change it now, the players are going to think, well, he doesn't even believe in the system that he's been bullying us to adapt to for the past 10 months. So there you go. Take it away. But Ben, I wanted to think about the same thing as well.
I think, Nuruddin, it's not an easy one to answer because there's credit on both sides of the fence here. He came in, I'm not sure what the understanding was with Ineos. He said there's going to be a storm. Maybe that was, maybe we can give credibility to what you just said for that, because that storm was one hell of a hurricane last season. But he came nonetheless. Nobody forced a gun to his head. It was premature, but he came. And when you come, you have to believe that you can make it right. And every manager wants to be the one that makes it right at Manchester United because he'll be a hero. I think Ruben Amorim, I go back to Conte when he came to England for Chelsea. He started off with 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. Didn't work out for him. Then he decided to bring a couple of guys in. Victor Moses came in, and he went with the 5-3-2 sort of thing, and he won the league. They were really good. So he's always uh, either Amorim needs to be flexible on it, tweak it to what he's got, or then again, it's like you say, abandoning his principles. But what Amorim is most important for him is to start to produce, something. I'm not telling you that Rome wasn't built in a day, and I say that because we've inherited a lot of problems from the Glazers. And Ineos as well have inherited a lot of problems from the Glazers that they didn't manufacture, but they're going to have to mop it up. And if it is the Glazers that are making the dictates, bro, and Jim Ratcliffe is the guy that's going to take the bullets now, they're the name on the package, the brand that we see that we fire the arrows at, that's their problem. Ruben Amorim, I mean, it might be that they're going to back him as long as it takes. It might be that even if it gets bad again this year, as loud as the voices get, they're going to give him what he wants in the next transfer market. The midfielders you'll get then. You will get the midfielders in the next one to finish the ensemble. For this thing to really, so we can have a really good look at this thing. So that is one thing in my mind, anyway, at least, that he will stay because the Glazers believe that, we're going to get there. And then if we look at what Jarvis said, when you don't get Champions League football, and you also have to remember that at the end of this season, the wages of Sancho and Rashford come back to the books if they're not bought. So these are all considerations as well for the finances. Now, another thing is the stadium Jarvis mentioned.
Sancho doesn't. I just want to correct you. Sancho doesn't. Sancho is a free to roam after the season finishes. He's on a free transfer, so his contract to run out.
Okay. Now,
by the way,
this is one for the...
to popular belief. Just let me just say this. Everybody thinks that Anthony was on big money because he was bought for big money, but actually he wasn't on big money. And all the reports that I have seen is rumored to be 110 grand. 150? No, it was 100. If you deducted the 25% cut because they're not in the Champions League, that was what everybody got, and that's why Onana apparently was moaning about. Because they're not in the Champions League. Onana, when he signed his contract, the agent didn't tell him, if you're not in the Champions League, pal, you get 25 deduction. So when you take that into consideration, Anthony was actually on like 110, 115. So just letting you know. So he wasn't on big wages. Carry on.
Yeah, I tip my hat to Anthony. He's done what he had to do financially to enjoy his football. So I respect that. With regards to the stadium, another thing that we bring into the fray. I mean, I've not been to many stadiums. You've been going to games for a long time and you frequent the stadium, tenfold more than me. I hear it's outdated, it's leaking, it belongs in the Stone Age. It's an iconic stadium, but in terms of what it offers in facilities, it's archaic. Do we need a brand new stadium? I mean, this could divide people. Some people will say yes. Some people might say no. I'm nostalgic, but I don't know many stadiums. I've not been to many. I've been to a few. But when I walk into Old Trafford, that's where I grew up. So I don't really want a new stadium. I'd like them to fix this one. But if we want a new stadium, and many people do, it costs money. So it's either free meals and don't make any cuts, spend whatever you want to spend, or you've got to start being a little bit resourceful and conservative if you're going to build that stadium that we saw. And it's going to cost a couple of £1 billion, especially now with the rate of materials and everything. When Tottenham did it to build the same stadium now, Daniel Levy was saying it cost well over £1 billion. They did it for under. So if you want a new stadium, unfortunately, you know what? You have to tighten your belts a little bit. And I know I don't sound like, I'm not that guy, but this is just the way the world is, unfortunately, man. It is. Money makes the world go round. And a new stadium, they have to come up with some of the money. So if you want that, we have to make concessions. I think Ruben Amorim just needs to get this team grinding a little bit. I'm not asking for a top 4 finish. I'm not asking for anything like that. We want to be, as high as we possibly can. But I think the way that we're playing and the results and the performances will either give me the faith to stay with Ruben Amorim, or will tell me no. But a few fundamental things as a manager that he has to take responsibility for example, is the offside line, the set piece problem, the inability to progress the ball, an inability to, not break that low block. We need to have a better plan B than just Maguire on there. Nobody's improved under Ruben Amorim's tenure. That's a concern for me. Every single manager, whether it was Van Gaal, Mourinho, who people hated, there were certain players that really improved under them.
Mate, 1 second. Big up to Only United. That's probably one of the funniest. He says, breaking. Just been reported that sometimes Amorim hates his wife, but sometimes he wants to stay with her for 20 years.
Yeah, that sums everything up. Nice comment, man. So there are things that Ruben Amorim as a manager can do to improve the team. Every week,
But I'm sorry to say,
talking
Bombay,
about.
I pick with you. Without that midfield, without the holes in the midfield, I find it really difficult to blame everything on him. Yes, I think I agree with you. He can sort out the goalkeeper. He can coach the better system of defending so the goalkeeper is protected. I can 100% understand that. He could work on actually playing defenders that actually get the ball out so that we can keep the ball better in terms of our defenders, and because he wants to play through the 3 centre backs more, and that we can give the ball to Mbemo and Cunha up the pitch more. Those things, and then his in-game management, making the subs at the right times to affect the game.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But the midfield is still the pack of shite, and no, Ollie needed a midfielder. They said to Ollie, "Here's Ronaldo." Remember Hot Potato?
Yeah,
Ollie needed midfielders. They said, "There you go."
So, bro, look, I think I'm just going to finish then with saying this. Ruben Amorim, this is obviously now completely to every individual's perspective, which I respect because I'm not an authority and I'm not speaking about facts. The level of responsibility you'll attribute to your manager will each individual to his own. Is last year's 15th place finish symptomatic of the commencing of the process, totally changing the way the team plays and them not making the adaptations and struggling and this and that? Very, very plausible. But still, it's way below par, I think, for the players we've got. Now, somebody says, no, actually, this team is a 15th place finished team. I don't think it is. This season, I think we've got quite a good team and we've got a good bench. We've got quite a good bench with some good options on there. Attacking wise, defensive wise, when everybody's back as well, it's pretty stocked. The only thing that I have to concede, bro, where I agree, I would have liked to have got a midfield enforcer like a Baleba. And really, I would have liked to have done it, not because I'm in love. Please get him. He's going to change it. Just so that everybody can just simmer down and say, look, Ruben, now go. Now you've got him. You know what I mean? There's your ensemble. I know you could do with maybe 1 or 2 more, but every team's like that. We can't give you 100%, but there's the midfielder. Now show me the football. Show me the progression. Show me how he changes the whole thing, how it looks, how it functions. So then I can look at Rubes and say, you know what, Rubes, that midfielder's made the world a difference, man. You were right. Or I can look at Rubes and say, bullshit. You're like Eric Ten Hag, man. It don't matter what we get you. This football won't go nowhere, and you cannot be here indefinitely for 3 years, 4 years. And the last thing you have to consider, guys, end of the day, if there is a manager that is not quite performing to the standard, am I just going to give him all the money that he asks for and everything that he wants? He needs to make a believer out of me as his
you
employer.
need to sign players, Bombay. Sorry, but you need to sign players, not for managers, for the football club. Go ahead, Ben, and then we'll come back to you, Bombay. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, man. I mean, when it comes to Ruben Amorim, with the fact that he's got no midfielders now, I'm starting to get a wee bit worried. Maybe they might pull the plug if results don't come in, and I think that's what he needs. He needs results. People say we need performances, on the pitch. We need a style of play. And I wish right now, I wish Luwani was here tonight. I wish Lessa was here tonight. I'm glad, obviously, Sean and Bombaye are here. And well, I don't know about what your view on it, Nurden, about this system. I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you're here as well, man. When it comes to this system, I'm not Ammerman and I'm not Ammerman, right? I'm just gonna give him the time. Whatever happens, happens. That's my verdict, right? Ruben Amrin has a right to be sacked from the what happened last season, finishing 15th, 100%. But it's all down to Ineos. They brought him in. That's it. Anyways, this season, now this is a new season, right? This is a new season. And Nerden, I heard your voice message earlier on, right? So the stats, right? Okay. Now, just off the rip, from the 3 games we've played, right? This might be a mad take. From the 3 games we've played, in my opinion, Manchester United have been one of the most entertaining teams in the Premier League so far this season. You look at Liverpool, they didn't deserve to win Newcastle. They didn't deserve to win at Arsenal. They were fucking born at Newcastle. They were fucking born at Arsenal.
But they won. That's what champions do.
Yeah. Facts.
That's what champions do. So champions
Hold on.
win
Sorry,
when they're playing bad.
My bad. My missus
ahead.
came in there. But anyways. So Arsenal haven't played well at all this season. Liverpool haven't played well. Now I'll come to the results. Results obviously are huge in football, right? So Arsenal haven't played well. City haven't played well. Liverpool haven't played well. The only teams I think that have played well is Spurs, Everton, who have been surprisingly very, really, really good, and ourselves, right? Now, then we're going to get into the stats. So in XG, right? I always said XG is not it shouldn't be looked at too much. This is my opinion, but it's still up there. So Manchester United are leading at 6.7, Chelsea 6.4, Brighton 6.1. Shots on target, Liverpool 5.67, Man United second place 5. Shot creating chances, Man United 106, that's 35.3 per 90. Second, Bournemouth at 81. Touches in the opposition box. Now, Nerd, I know I've heard your voice note. I'll reply to you in a sec here. Manchester United at 91 touches in the opposition box. Bournemouth 83, Man City 79. Progressive carries, Man United 76, first place. Tackle success 67.4%, highest. Aerials 1, yes, our set pieces are fucking dreadful. That's the one thing Amram has to work on is set pieces. Obviously, you protecting the keeper, as you said, Nurden. But this is what I'm saying, man. Nurden said, and with your voice note earlier, Nurden, you said Manchester United have to sustain attacks, slow down at times in the final third. But Nurden, you know what's surprisingly though, you're seeing those stats, right? You're seeing those stats. We've been the better team, except for probably Grimsby. Grimsby was a fucking embarrassment. But you're seeing those stats, right? If Ruben Hammond just got 2 midfielders and 2 keepers, right? I'm sorry, Nurden. I'm not an Ammerman, I'm not Ammermite, but the more I see it this way, maybe Ammerm is making a point by saying it's not only the system that's the issue. It's not always down to the system. This is why I believe, in my opinion, that if I'm seeing stats like this, especially in the opposition box, I always said with Sesko coming in, he doesn't get many touches in the opposition box. It's a concern. But if I'm seeing stats like that, it's fucking phenomenal. I have not seen stats in the opposition box since fucking Van Gaal or since Postberg. And Nerd, I know you hate stats. I fucking hate stats too. But Nerdin, I'm sorry. I will. Please come back. Anyone in the comments too. Please come back to me. Have Manchester United in the whole Premier League three games now. 3 games in the season. Manchester United have been arguably one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the first 3 games. This is my opinion. Now, he's got to work on, obviously, the set pieces, Bombaye said. There is things that he has to work on, 100%, man. The in-game management, I said it's the worst in-game management I've ever seen in a coach. But this is, you have to think about it. He's a young manager. He's going to make mistakes. if any of us would have got those two midfielders, man, honestly, I'm saying top 4 finish. I'm saying it right now because, even pick up the Cleese, pick up the Shikarian. Schick's not really obviously a big Amram fan or big into the system, but Khalees and Jimmy Wayne, like surprisingly, Jay saying, do you know what? That's actually crazy to think that we actually have that many touches with that much XG. We're ahead of people in tackles. We're ahead of people. Yes, the one thing I can agree with is when it comes to the aerials one, we're maybe conceding too many set pieces too much from the corners and the free kicks. Hence why we've conceded goals from set pieces. That's a big concern. But Nurden, as you said, I know you're going to come back to the midfield, but imagine we signed a Wharton and a Baleba. Like, I'm sorry, Nurden, I can believe in this system way more if we bought them too, man. But for now, it's all down to results right now. It's not down to performances. People
Ben,
can
Ben,
criticize. No. Bombay, I know you're going to disagree,
no,
and
no,
Nurden's
no,
going to
no,
disagree.
no, no.
Let
I'm
me
not.
finish.
I'm not. I'm not.
Let me finish. But he is right. To finish off, he is arguably in the books. He is the worst manager in Manchester United's history. This is why I believe in these next few games, it's all down to results. Results, buy you time, and that's the
Yeah,
most important thing.
it's true.
With performances, this is why people say the system doesn't work. The systems doesn't work. Well, why am I seeing stats like that? Stats like
Um,
that, and Nerd, you said back in the bastification of football with Ten Hag, 20. Why are opposition teams getting 25 shots on target, no, on goal and all that shit? You rarely see teams, go like take shots against us, man. We're seeing like 28, 30 shots at Old Trafford. Yes, they're not going anywhere near the target. And Nerd, you always said test the goalkeeper right. We have to do that better. But Nerd, like, can you not see that? With two midfielders to sustain attacks, this system will flow.
flourish.
Come on,
Ben, so you like those stats?
yeah.
Yeah,
Windy's got a
that's
question
good.
for you,
So
Ben.
no, Dino,
Somebody
Dino, let
wants to
me.
go.
Ah,
So Ben, the reason you like those stats
I might.
are because Dino. You want to finish off my sentence? Wendy,
Because
thank you, my fair
this
lady
is
No, no,
Wendy.
no, 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 no. So
this is
wait,
No,
where
your
let me get
your
back to Wendy. Let
your
me get back to
boy.
Wendy. Let me
No,
get
no,
back
no,
to
no, no,
Wendy.
no,
No, no, let
no,
me
no,
get
no,
back
no,
to
no,
Wendy.
no, no.
No,
All
no, no,
right,
no, no,
all
no,
right, all
no,
right. Don't worry,
no,
Sean.
no, 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 no.
Enjoy.
Let me get back to Ben.
It's
Let me get back to
because
Wendy. No.
yours truly is running shit. Top of the pops, chances created. Your boy. Thank
T-shirt.
you.
We do
Good
this
night.
every other
I'm
word.
here
We do
all
this.
week.
No, 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 no.
Bye.
But there's a difference, Bombay. There's a difference. This is the propaganda shit, right? There's a difference between chances created and Ricky from the United stand. I love Ricky. He hates Bruno Fernandes. There's a difference between chances created and big chances created, and I want to see the stats there. I want to see the stats there. And do you know what? Look, Wendy, I have an agenda on Bruno Fernandes. I don't really criticize too much on what he does on the ball. It's off the ball. What does he do off the ball? And then what I hear from Bruno Fernandes fans, silence. He does nothing off the ball. Football is not on the ball. It's not always about on the ball. It's off the ball. If I was a coach, I would literally sub Bruno off because off the ball he is fucking dreadful, and
He
that's why
does. It's not right.
Amram has said it in the press conferences. Bruno needs to work on his positional sense. He's fucking shocking. He's shocking. It's unbelievable, man. And if you're seeing stats like this in Jordan, imagine what a Wharton can do or a Carlos Baleba in that two-man midfield. Like the stats would be go through the roof. And do you know what, Jordan? We should be on 7 points from 9 in this Premier League. We shouldn't be on 4 points. We should have beaten Fulham. Bruno Fernandes missed a penalty. Cunha missed 2 sitters. Fucking sitters. You have to bury your chances, regardless. You're at a top football club. The pressure's gonna be on. You have to finish your chances, man. Arsenal, yes, it should have been a draw. I mean, a draw probably was the best case, but as you said, Nerdin, Arteta set Arsenal up to defend against us really, and then Burnley, we were all over them. We were all over them. So come on, man. Like,
I'd say this version of Ben is
okay,
infectious. I'm thinking. I'm
okay.
thinking
Uh, uh,
I'm thinking we're
listen,
there, man.
but I'm
okay,
hammering out.
listen,
I'm not hammering in. I'm not hammering in.
listen. At
Okay.
the end of the day, I think you just laid it down. Why football stats? By the way, the stats comes from really the stats in sport comes from a lot from American. The modern stats on football. It's American sport stats specifically because American sports are very different, and the way that the scientific ways of carrying out stats doesn't really apply because you can't really tell the amount of times that Bruno has. The only thing I know when we play the second game, I don't know about Burnley because I've not looked at the stats in terms of big chances we created. But the goalkeeper was the only, Bayendier was the only player to create, after 2 games, to create 1 big chance. I repeat, big chance in football means where you are set one-on-one through with a goalkeeper, where the attacking player is approaching the goal and it's only him and the goalkeeper. You can have different variations of it, but that's my understanding of it. Now, stats are deceiving, and that's why I'm always lean towards the eye test, because the eye test is something that we all grew up with and we all will when we watch football. Because other than the 10 minutes in a game against Fulham, Manchester United were not in the game. Fulham took over the control. Other than 10, if you want to be so much like generous, you can say 15 minutes. Arsenal, only 1 good save out of the 7 on target that he faced was only 1 good save he made, Raya. And I always say to you, it's the same thing the other day. It's like Arsenal. I made a video, a match reaction after Liverpool Arsenal, and I asked Arsenal, a team that's supposed to be going for the league, how many saves did Alisson Becker make? How many times did he hit the bar and the post? Now, I will say, in that 10-minute spell, we dominated. Cunha could have had 2. 1 fantastic save and another one where he hit the post. That should have been. But I'm afraid, Ben, the difference is what my thing is. You need midfield to win the ball back, to constantly 100%. Create those chances. And then Fulham changed their positioning in the midfield, overrun us, and control the rest of the game. They didn't have the quality because they sacrificed their attacking inverted wingers to drop into midfield, and they couldn't hurt us with just 1 player up there. In terms of the Burnley game, yes, Burnley, I've just come up through the championship.
100%.
Burnley, I don't know, they're being to Old Trafford. We came out because of the Grimsby. Sometimes you have to take things into context.
Yeah.
Amarim basically said that the players told him where to be. They wanted to get him sacked after the Grimsby. So the players had to come out on a full force energy, and they did that, and the momentum carried them, even though Burnley got back into the game. Even though this was the most mentally motivated team where everybody was going in gun-ho, right? At the end of the day, we got the win 3-2, and I'm happy about that. We're happy with the 3 points. But for me, all I'm saying to you is that stats do not tell you the full picture. And stats in sport and everything else can be misleading at times. Bombay, you can come in now. Go ahead. But I will agree with you in terms of where we were last season. The position in the wing backs is rightly up high. So I said last season we defended with 5. And I was on everybody. And everybody, to begin with, when I was calling it out, people were like, no. This season, I don't see that. I see us defending.
It's taking risk. It's taking risk.
We're taking risk. And the wing backs are up and high and wide. 100%. I do see that. So, yes, we are going to. But the way that we're using in Burma and Cunha, I think that's unsustainable. Because the level of amount of energy for them to come on board, we can't drop them both deep. One of them has to come in, and I think Cunha might be the better player to come because he's doing it for Wolves. But in Burma has to stretch the team the other way, so that creates a gap. At times we've done that in some of these games, and times we didn't. But go ahead, Bombay.
Just very quickly, Bombay. But Nerden, but to prevent that, if we had the Wharton and the Baleba signing straight in the doors, that gets rid of all that, Nerden.
Yeah. Listen, I said if we sign, the dream midfield would be Baleba
and Wharton.
Wharton and Kobe Mainoo playing 4-3-3. I 100% believe that. But that's a dream. That's a faster dream. I said that if we sign Baleba, I will get the shades on. That is one of the best signings that a football club would ever make. Even though he's had a horrendous start to the season, and it's been subbed up all 3 games. I think he's been subbed off because I think mentally,
the United thing.
Mentally, he's not recovered because he's a young guy. He's not. He thought he was going to United, and now he's staying at Brighton. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think, man, look, I'm emotional when it comes to this because I can't help it sometimes. The baggage of Ten Hag.
Football is emotional. Football is emotional.
It is,
Don't ever
man.
apologize for being emotional.
Yeah, and you know what? I can, depending on my emotions, how I feel, I might come to the, to the show one day. I'm like, man, I'm not happy with this guy, and then I love him again. I'm basically Ruben Amorim. Sometimes I love you, sometimes I hate you. Week by week, it might change, but really, we are 3 games in. I think the Grimsby thing really knocked us all for 6.
Yeah, facts. It
But
was
then
not
the
good.
Burnley thing, okay, it was a big. We They slayed the dragon, Man United. Burnley was good. I'm glad to see the playing for him. And it's only 3 games. Maybe maybe Amorim man is going to solve this thing, and and maybe we're gonna be good this year. I mean, after the Burnley now that we've seen and we've looked at City, well, they're not what we think they are. Let's see. Maybe we beat Man City. Who knows? I can't see into the future. I'm not out in or anything like that, but I am saying if you don't get results,
Yeah,
then give us
that's
some
big.
performance. You've got to give one or the other. Now, it's always better to get results, bro. The reason being, it kind of takes the pressure off the narrative if we've lost and played terrible, because now we're just going to pick the performances of the players and the system and the usual normal. But if you get 3 points and stink it out, you bought yourself time to keep working, man, to get us that performance, next week, the week after, and then start doing it more consistently. But if there's no results and there's no performances, we're struggling. I would like just to see Mbeumo and Cunha be a little bit more narrow and have the width come from our wing backs. Because I see Mbeumo, bro, he's operating as just wide guy, and he's too far away from Cunha. And this isn't good, especially when we're having to do transition because we're losing the ball. Ruben Amorim needs to get us better in, taking care of the ball, possession. Because when we're losing it, straight away we're in problems because he wants the midfielder, bro, to step into the defender to be the midfielder. So we're pushing a high line. So he's trying to play the offside trap, which, as you can see live, even it's not the best. And now there's a gaping space on the wide flanks, and our 2 centre backs have been dragged out because our wing backs are already up there, and we've lost the ball. To play this way, you've got to be good in possession. You've got to start, improving the quality of the team in possession. If you're going to bypass the midfield, all right, fair enough, fine. You want to get the overloads in the attack through the width and give up the midfield, no problem. But you're going to have to be much better in possession and cut out a lot of the other shit. The set pieces, every time, it's the first time I've been like this, we get a set piece against us. It's like having a free kick in a beautiful area or something. It's dangerous, everyone. Got to fix this. It's awful. And I think, you know what? It's now dust to settle, bro. Go international, come back, let's play City, and we just go from there.
Yeah.
But so far, you can feel the improvement. There are certain things that we see. We're not just looking at when is the next points coming or the next goal coming. You can see it's coming there. It's there slowly. It's happening. Now we're looking at more different things. We should be beating Burnley. We should have beat Fulham. Things like that. Last season, it was like, man, we haven't scored a goal in a year. Haven't scored the points. When's the next points? So that's kind of gone. New leaf, but let's see if this materializes, and time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, like, see, but after the Europa League final, like, I was like, right, whatever happens to him, if anyone sack him, well, he's got to sack him, then I'm all, like, I'll back it, regardless, even though it was their fault for bringing him in. But the last game, like, even though people will always say it's the last game, what are you talking about? But I was like, when I saw that performance, I was like, right, okay, let's see what happens next season if you're still here, right? The biggest issue with Ruben Amorim last year with this system is, yes, we can complain about the midfield, but when we play against the lower sided teams that tend to low block, you know, we've actually improved that a lot this season. Like, I've actually seen that with Burnley. Burnley defended with 7 defenders. 7 defenders. They actually said on TV that
Mm.
says, "Oh, Burnley looks like are going to be on a back 7 at this rate," and we were still creating chances, man. And look, at the end of the day, what will come to bite Ruben Amorim in the back is obviously these results, because right now it's not good, in terms of his win percentage as a Manchester United coach. But this is why he's got to get results on the board. This is why these next few games are vital for him. And if he gets these next few results with decent performances, because we have been playing decent at, against the top teams, we usually tend to be more compact. Then I actually do believe we actually might have a solid season this season. Now, when I say that, I mean by maybe at top 6 to top 8, like in between that 7th to 8th. Like that's a decent season, man. And then we just go all in for midfielders next summer, and that's it, man. And when it come now, if results don't come through, then and they do pull a plug, then that's it. Like, it's the end for Ruben Amorim, and it's got to be Eddie Howe or Areola that comes in and plays that 4-3-3 system. Now, Nurden said, that his idea will be Mainu, Baleba, and Morton in a 4-3-3. Even like, I mean, I know when you said that, Nurden, it does tell me that you don't really have fully on trust in the system. But I do believe if we had Baleba and a Wharton, in that too, in the pivot, I do think the system will be like it will be good. Now it won't be as good as a 4-3-3, but I still think it would be sustainable. Nerd, I still think we would be, well, we'd see like patterns like we've seen already with Bruno Fernandes and this team. Like I said, if he just works on set pieces, obviously I'm glad we got Le Mans in. If he fixes his in-game management, and obviously with Bruno Fernandes and Delo, you know my opinions on them, obligado. And like I said, the one thing I'll bite Ruben Amorim if he gets sacked is the midfield. Like the midfield, they never got midfielders for him, and that's going to be the killer for him, man. And people have been saying in the comments, Ben's been positive. Has Ben always been positive? No, man, I've always been negative, man. I'm not Ruben Amorim. I'm not Ruben Amorim out. I'm just Ruben Amorim out right now. Let's see how he gets on, and let's just back him, man. See how we get on. Big up, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the season, people. I think we've had a very constructive debate, unless Sean wants to say his last piece about the stats and stuff. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I don't. I don't have an agenda, right? So I'm just gonna let what Ben said sit and let Bruno's performances speak for themselves. I think I've always said about Bruno, what I want from a coach is the bravery to bench him when he needs to be benched and to play him when he needs to be played. I think Bruno is a fantastic player that we should have in our squad. Amorim, I think, has a lot to prove. He made me nervous in the Burnley game. I think he made the players nervous. He made everybody nervous. I don't like his energy on the top line. I don't know. I don't like the way he behaves. I don't like what he looks like. I don't like the press conferences after. I used to like them before, but I don't like them anymore. I think what I said to Luani and the rest of the guys, people who don't rate Amorim, you're going to get your wish pretty soon, right? Because I think this Burnley game, there's nothing to take from it other than I can watch highlights, right? I watch highlights this week. I can watch highlights next week. That's the only good thing that's come out of this Burnley game. Because otherwise, there's nothing for you or me to take, right? We have 3 points. All that matters, honestly, all that matters is the games against City and Chelsea. Because as far as I'm concerned, we should come out of those two games with at least 4 points. At least 4 points from City and Chelsea. I don't know how it's allocated. So I hope for the best from Amorim. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sacked. I think Bayern Leverkusen have showed the way. You can sack a manager after 3 games, right? Ten Hag has made 24 million pounds from 2 sackings, basically in 2 years, which is expert, right? It's a great business model, honestly. So it's not impossible to sack a manager after 4 or 5 games. So hopefully Ineos is brave enough to do what needs to be done. But I would rather we're not in a position where Amorim is sacked. I would love to come out and be like, wow, Amorim made this change that surprised me and, produced a beautiful result, or the players really showed up today. I would love to be surprised in that way. So, hoping for the best, but expecting the worst.
Nuruddin, you should do a poll on a future show, and you should have maybe 4 or 5 potential managers. Conte, Eddie Howe, the
Eddie
guy
Howe,
from
that's my guy.
Bournemouth. The guy from Bournemouth, I think everybody likes.
Areola.
Areola.
Raiola, De Zerbi, and see what people are thinking. See what people think. The only worry
Xavi,
with me is,
some United fans want
And
Xavi
Xavi, yeah.
from
I mean,
Barcelona,
yes,
ex-Barcelona.
Xavi, bro. One thing that he's done is he managed a massive club and he won the league and the cup with them. And they've got huge players on massive money, big egos. I think sometimes that the size of the club, the demands, the dressing room. You know, Amarim walks in as a player. He had a career, but I don't know what his trophy cabinet is like or his credibility in the game as a player. You know, was he all right? Or if you get somebody in like a Xavi or a Conte, it's different from that point of view. And as well, I think when I say Eddie Howe to you, it's because Premiership proven. You know, Newcastle are pretty big. Isaac, big. When you get, there's always the risk, you see, of making the jump up from a foreign league like Ten Hag or Amarim, from clubs that are. I mean, Ajax has got history, Sporting has, but this is a behemoth in terms of size, especially today. The Ajax of Van Gaal is old now. Nobody watches Dutch football. Maybe the Puritan. Who the hell tunes in? Nobody watches that. Nobody's tuning into Portuguese football to watch Sporting play. I've never even heard of Amorim in my life until he played City. Oh, he was on our Liverpool's radar. I had never heard of him. That tells you about the size difference, the global appeal. You go to Timbuktu, you say Man United, they know. So my worry always with these managers, it's too big. Ollie done it because he was a player. But my next criteria for the next manager is, I know we've done this 10 years ago now, though, bro. We had, like the Van Gaal and the Mourinho, that type. But I want to go back to that type of manager. So I'm looking at people like Conte. Eddie Howe's on my list because Eddie Howe has
Yeah,
he's made a good progression. Bournemouth, he did a good job. Newcastle, he's done a good job, and he's got money now. He's managed Premier League. Even Unai
I
Emery.
shouted. There's a video of me talking
I've
about
seen it.
Eddie Howe in 2018,
Yeah.
and everybody was laughing at me. That's like
No,
stage.
I remember the one guy that said Eddie Howe, and I laughed in your face that time. But I think now that he's come to Newcastle, bro, it's less of a jump.
Yes,
Somebody
I
like
agree.
Enrique at PSG,
Yep.
He's never
Xavi.
come up into us.
But he's never come to
A
But I'm
lot of
just
people
giving,
would take
I'm
Enrique,
giving
but
you,
he's never come up.
I'm giving you the profile because I think it alleviates the possibilities of it being too big. One thing you see with Ten Hag is, what did Ten Hag do? Ten Hag came, and when you give somebody hundreds of millions of pounds when they're used to a budget of nothing, do you know they can become a little bit like a kid in a sweet shop. So I'll go and get my old players from my old club, but it's not translating over. And your football at Ajax and your football at Sporting may not work in the Premier League. That's a consideration. This is new to you. Even the great Pep Guardiola first season said, "Ah, man, I have to adapt. This is difficult. This is different."
Mm.
Managers that have managed here, like Mourinho, Van Gaal, they tell you it's different game here. Zlatan, listen to all the players that come here. They handle it because they're great, but it's different. When
Yeah.
you come, bro, and this is a whole new platform you're getting. So Conte walks in and says, "Who are you?" I've been Italy manager. I've been Juventus manager. I've been Inter Milan manager. I captain Zidane. What is there that you've won that I've not won? You listen to what I'm telling you. Different ball game. My
Yeah.
man comes into the dressing room like, "Who are you?" Look at what Ronaldo did to Ralph Ranić. He embarrassed him. He's like, "Who is him? I've never heard of him." This can be a problem for you to establish your authority in a dressing room. And if your methods are not, you're not making believers out the players and they're not seeing the fruits of their labor, man. Week by week, the idea is week by week, guys, I convince you we were better, we were better, we were better, give you confidence. It's growing, growing. But if it's not happening, bro, and they don't believe in your methods, that's not going to work for you. Right now, they are playing for him though, so no worries there.
Yeah. When it
Yeah,
when it
big up to
comes to
Jarvis. Listen, big up to Jarvis. Quick hit, Ben,
Jarvis.
so we wrap it up.
Go ahead, bro.
I just want to quickly update before you go. On the poll, we asked, how do you rate the transfer window? The poll says 7 out of 10 is 13%, 6 out of 10 is 26%, 5 out of 10 is 34, 4 out of 10 is 26.
I mean, when Wait, big up. When it comes to Eddie Howe, like that's my guy, man. Like I think he's the right man to take us forward. Obviously, Ariola plays with a 4-4-2. He doesn't play with 4-3-3. Um, I agree with. I think Nurden said it in a couple of streams ago. He doesn't want another foreign manager from another league. I agree. I think Eddie Howe is the perfect profile. You know, Newcastle's a massive club, but like I said, man, like I'm generally so sorry, man, because he like I've never really had an agenda on anyone in like previous years. It's just this guy really just annoys me off the ball and all that sort of stuff. But I believe in modern day football you should never ever play with a number 10 that can do the defensive attributes. So when Eddie Howe comes, if Bruno Fernandes is still there and he plays Bruno in the midfield three, we're going to struggle because Bruno would always be wanting to play in the 10 role instead of an 8 and a 6. This is why Newcastle arguably have the best midfield balance wise in the Premier League, even better than Arsenal, Liverpool. We've seen why Liverpool have been struggling ever since Virtus came in because Virtus is a number 10. He's not a number 8 or a 6. He always likes to stay up, and hence why Liverpool haven't been great in terms of performance. This is what I'm saying, man. If Bruno's gone, I think we're going to see. I'm Mason Mount, by the way, Mason Mount, because Mason Mount technically is a 10 and he can play in the left wing. But if you get rid of them two and then bring more, like see Ogarte's, you know, even though a lot of people are criticizing Ogarte and all that sort of stuff, but he can do the basics, the 8 and the 6 role. You know, that's Ogarte's role. Casemiro, he can do it. Kobe Mino, he can do it.
I don't think Casemiro can do anything.
No, but
He's
lost
on
his legs.
horrendous form at this moment.
Yeah, but you know what I mean,
His
nerd, and like
confidence is lacking.
yeah, but in the profile though, the profile, not like,
yeah. What Casemiro used to be, yeah, but not now.
Yeah. That's me.
Big up.
Right.
I agree with. We won't have the same running on Baleba and Walton. Definitely, McAllister
No.
is the Real Madrid rumors are not going away, as somebody said brilliantly before, and somebody said something I really wanted to pick up on before we go quickly. Damn, why didn't I highlight it? Somebody said something before, but it missed me. But from now on, we're going to try to highlight and get to the points differently. At the end of the show. But big up to everybody. Smash a like. There's massive floods in Punjab. Solidarity goes out to the people in Punjab, especially in Pakistan region. The Punjab in Pakistan side, there's massive floods. People have already passed away, and there are lots of more people's homes. There's a monsoon season, but this is climate crisis. This is what's happening. That's why you're seeing it more than you've seen it. I think so. Eddie Howe might be the England manager. I don't think he'll come to Manchester United unless he's a big United fan. Unless he's a big United guy. Unless he thinks he's still too young to be England manager. For me, I don't go too far with Areola. Areola is fantastic. I'll show the video. Yeah. There's a video of him coaching. Wow, the level of communication. Yeah, it's unbelievable what he's doing. I don't think the midfield are what the midfield are. Earthquake in Afghanistan too, so solidarity with the Afghan. All that region in it, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, they're all connected. So all of that region, South Asia, sending love and solidarity to everyone. Free Palestine, free Lebanon, free the Congo, free Sudan, F the imperialist colonizers and the Zionists and the military machine. Solidarity and love all the people throughout the world who are resisting that. Free the people who are locked up as well. F this fucking system. Yep. F the free Manchester United from Ineos and Glazer. If you want to be down with Ineos and Glazer, F you too. And peace, love, and light to everyone. Please, the most you can do, smash the likes on the video. Subscribe to the channel. I will hopefully try to get hold of Luani and Lesso and try to ask them about these questions next time they're on. But big up to Bombaye, big up to Ben, big up to Sean. Make sure you check out Sean at Sean Thomas. Make sure you check out Bowley77 at BOLE77 on X, and the YouTube channel is Tactical Devils. Make sure you check him out on there. They'll be live on Thursday, so there it is. Bowley77 on X, and they'll be live. The channel is Tactical Devils. You can even click on that now, and then it takes you there. They'll be live with a tactical breakdown with Stu about the offside and everything. Make sure you check out Sean at Sean Thomas on X, and he will be.
How we
You can
see
also check out
things.
his podcast. Yeah, his podcast is Geopolitical Podcast, How We See Things across all your podcast providers. Big up to Ben as well. Make sure you follow Ben at
Ben at
Elmo39
I hate
at
Bruno X.
X, yeah. And then make sure you check him out on Twitch. He's a gamer. If you're into gaming, at Elmo20. Make sure you check out Lesso at Black Rain on X. And congratulations to him with his new job. Love and light to all of you people.
Congrats, Lasso,
And
man.
yeah, if you want to follow, if you want to have some interesting debates, that guy Red Devil on
Big up
X.
all
Mr.
the
Strucker.
comments,
We
man.
are
Some
where we are.
really,
Yeah, big up
really
to Windy.
lively.
Best
Big
chat,
up to
man.
everybody. Yeah, it's been a really
Wendy,
lovely show.
Mohammed, Soul Searcher.
Yeah,
Only
yeah.
Yemen, man.
Everybody,
Free
big
Yemen.
up all the mods
Yemenis, man.
and
Big
everybody
up
else.
Elmo. I need Bruno in my life 2000.
Yeah, yeah. Big up. I don't even know how to say that. How do you say that, Ben?
That's in English. It's our day will come. It's Chucky Arla. It's
Chucky
basically
Arla,
means
man.
our day will
Yeah,
come
Chucky
for
Arla.
Ireland to be free from
United.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big up from
The
British
Native
colonization.
American Indians say that now. They
Yeah.
have a good historic relationship.
They do, man.
They
You
do.
see, man, plight humanizes each other. You recognize each other's plight.
100%.
100%.
100%. Listen, big up to everybody. Love and light. Please smash a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Big up and bless up to everybody. We'll be dropping a video tomorrow, so make sure you check out. I think I'm going to be dropping a video on the big write-up Swedish Rumble has done. So make sure you watch that video. It breaks down how far we're falling behind and how this is going to cost the football club and the football fans. Glazers don't care. Ineos don't care, but we care. So yeah, big up, love and light. Look after each other. Did you know anyone from Baltimore in the US named after an Irish town? Yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah, yeah.
Surprise us, man. The Irish built the place.
Yeah, Irish and the stolen people from Africa built that place, mate.
Yep, that's right.
It's what it is. Love and light, people, and the Chinese as well, and some of the Japanese.
Yeah,
don't forget
that's right.
Love and light. Take care, people. Love and light. Free fucking Palestine. Stop the
Always,
genocide.
bro.
Stop the starvation. Fuck Zionism. Peace.
Fuck Zionism.